What's up everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brad and we're back at it again. Today what I want to do is I want to give you a week 4 update on what my Ficus Elastica Tineke looks like post big chop. If you recall, a couple of weeks ago I decided to give my Ficus Elastica Tineke the big chop in order to encourage additional branching as well as to help it recover from some neglect that it had been experiencing over the previous months or so. So after giving it the big chop, I placed the Ficus Elastica Tineke outside to allow for it to get as much sunlight as possible. So it's in direct sunlight. It gets about 8+ hours of sunlight per day. For reference, I'm in USDA zone 8, so it does get relatively hot. So it's been about 90 degrees or so here in the afternoon, and it's been about 70 degrees at night. So the Ficus Elastica Tineke has been outside, and I have been giving it a double dose of fertilizing every watering, give or take a watering or so. So without further ado, let me take you outside so you can see what the Ficus Elastica Tineke looks like post big chop and after giving it that bright, direct sunlight. So here's the week 4 update of my Ficus Elastica Tineke. I took off the red wrapping that I had around this stem here because I wanted to be able to fully appreciate some of the growth that the Ficus Elastica Tineke has put on. So as you can see, it's starting to really come into its form. We have 3 branches on the bottom. We have 4 branches up top. We have a new leaf that has unfurled here. And then we have a leaf that is about to unfurl here. It's still underneath its protective sheath, so we're gonna leave that alone. Leaf that's gonna unfurl here, still underneath the protective sheath. Same for this one. And then all around. So next week, I imagine that I'm gonna have probably an explosion of some new leaves that are gonna come from this particular Tineke. Now, some people do like to help their leaves out when they're under this protective sheath. You can, you can't, it's really up to you. I like to just leave it alone because I don't want to risk damaging this new growth. So I'm gonna leave that alone, and I'm not gonna really mess with trying to help the leaf unfurl. But again, as you can see, it's really starting to put on that beautiful color and the beautiful variegation that the Tineke is famous for. Now, when we come down here, again, we see that this soil is still pretty damp. I don't think I'm gonna water today. I'm probably going to maybe water here in the next 2 days. We are gonna have a lot of dry, hot weather here soon. So I'm gonna wait to let this root ball dry up some before I water with some fertilizer. Just like before, I'm going to do a double dose of my liquid fertilizer, and I am going to completely saturate the root ball. So that means when I water from the top, I'm gonna wait until I see water coming out of the bottom, and that's how I know that I've fully saturated it. So this looks good so far here. I also just wanted to provide you with a full 360 view of what the Tineke looks like. Like I said, it's really starting to come into form, which is what I love to see. And I did mention before about how these leaves are fairly small, but with time, they actually will get larger. So before I did the big chop on this Tineke, the leaves were about the size of my hand. So just imagine having a large, colorful leaf about the size of my hand, just full of colorful variegation. It's absolutely stunning. That's why the Tineke is one of my favorite ficuses. If you like videos like this and want to see more videos about houseplant tips and tricks, please be sure to subscribe to my channel. It's totally free and it would mean a lot. Thank you so much. Now back to the video. As a bonus, I'm going to go ahead and also show my Ficus Elastica Robusta. Now, I like this particular variety of ficus because it readily branches, meaning that you don't necessarily have to top it off to get all of the branching. As long as you give it some bright sunlight, you will get the branching. Now, I went ahead and topped this off anyway because I like to do it just if I am trying to achieve a certain look. And just look at all of the branches that it's put off. So I have a main branch. I have another main branch. I have another main branch here, another main branch here. I have branches that are still trying to form further down the stem. So this is absolutely a great tree to get, especially if you want something that will readily branch easily without you having to do too much. And one of the cool things that I like when you have trees that have these multiple branchings is I like to be able to see the leaves that are on different stages of unfurling. So for instance, we have this particular leaf that is in the process of unfurling. It just shed, or it's trying to shed, its protective sheath. We have another leaf here, hasn't yet shed its sheath. Another one that isn't as far along as the other two. And then we have some that really getting some swelling underneath the sheath, so we can probably expect to have a leaf burst here. So let me know in the comment section whether or not you want to have weekly updates on the Ficus Elastica Robusta, because if you do, I'll also add that into the loop as well. And then let me also show off my Ficus Elastica standard. So this is not the Robusta. This is really you can think of it as the parent of all of the other ficuses. Let me know if you want to also see a weekly update on these. Now, these do grow more slowly than the Robusta, and also I'm finding that it grows more slowly than the Tineke. I did this big chop at the same time as the fiddle leaf fig as well as the Tineke, and as you can see, I do have some branching. So I have 4 branches up top, I have a branch that's forming down here and a branch that's forming down here, but it's still not quite on the same pace as the Tineke that has, for instance, 4 leaves on this branch, 4 leaves on that branch. You know, I only have 2 leaves on this particular branch here. But if you want weekly updates on what or how long it takes for the Ficus Elastica to branch and start forming leaves, let me know in the comment section, and I can also throw this into the rotation as well. So this is the Ficus Elastica, which, as you can see, looks different from the Ficus Robusta, which has more of that green leaf to it, which looks different from the Tineke, which has just the beautiful variegation to it. And then let me also throw this one in, the Ficus Audrey. So this one, just like the Robusta, also readily branches, and I can throw this into the rotation as well if you want to see weekly updates of what it looks like or how long it takes for the Ficus Robusta, or excuse me, the Ficus Audrey to grow. This one is growing really, really well. No topping needed. Has a lot of branching, velvety leaves. This is probably one of my favorite ficuses as well. All ficuses are my favorite ficus. Thank you so much for watching this week's update of giving the Ficus Elastica Tineke the big chop and what it looks like. I hope you enjoyed it, and as I've said in the other videos, I hope this gives you the courage to give your Tineke the big chop, knowing that it will be able to bounce back. Also, let me know in the comment section whether or not you would like to see weekly updates on what my Robusta looks like, or the Audrey, or even just the Ficus Elastica standard, because it is pretty interesting the rate in which they grow. It does vary. So if you would like to continue to see that documented, let me know in the comment section, and I will be sure to film that as well and put that in the rotation. Again, my name is Brad. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you next week when I give you an update on the Ficus Elastica Tineke.
What?